I told God I was angry. I told God I was angry. I thought he'd be surprised. I thought I'd kept hostility quite cleverly disguised. I told the Lord I hate him. I told him that I hurt. I told him that he isn't fair, he's treated me like dirt. I told God I was angry. But I'm the one surprised. What I have known all along, he said, you have finally realized. At last you have admitted what's really in your heart. Dishonesty, not anger, was keeping us apart. Even when you hate me, I don't stop loving you. Before you can receive that love, you must confess what's true. In telling me the anger you genuinely feel, it loses power over you, permitting you to heal. I told God I was sorry, and He has forgiven me. The truth that I was angry has finally set me free. What is forgotten is unavailable, and what is unavailable cannot be healed. When you face each memory, ask yourself, why was this a problem? Why was this painful? What did I or I can learn from this experience? This is a way to put the memory to rest. I have known some who have written goodbye letters to each memory and then read the letter aloud. This can be a helpful way to let go of painful memories. Grieving is an active process of confronting loss and doing what needs to be done with it to move on with life. When you live in denial, however, you push anything unpleasant out of your life. In denial, you passively float down a river of pain, but at the same time you don't admit the pain is there. You are floating alone, often at the mercy of current. Grieving admits and faces the pain. It sets the course, notes the current and rapids in the river, and paddles through it all to maintain its course. Grief is not despair. Grief feels and deals with loss. Despair is a sense of futility, the idea that nothing can be done to get out of this. It's a passive resignation, and it grinds you into hopelessness. When grief enters your life, you enter a valley of shadows. There is nothing pleasant about grief. It's painful, it's work. It's a lingering process, but it's necessary for healing. Grief brings many changes. It appears differently at various times, and it flits in and out of your life. It's natural, normal, and predictable, and it should be accepted when your relationship is over. Don't let anyone tell you that something is wrong with you. Grieving is not an abnormal response to a breakup. In fact, just the opposite is true. The absence of grief is abnormal. Grief is your own personal experience and doesn't have to be accepted or validated by others. There is a bundle of emotions involved in the grieving process. Emotions that seem out of control and in conflict with one another. At different times you may experience bitterness, emptiness, apathy, love, anger, guilt, sadness, fear, self-pity, and helplessness. During your time of grief and recovery, you will experience a jumbled mess of feelings that will leave you wondering, am I normal or crazy? This in itself is normal and to be expected. One minute you are confused and the next you've got all it together. Confusion will be a companion that comes and goes. You'll be sentimental at times, especially when your thoughts and mementos trigger your sadness. Your feelings will surge back and forth like a wave coming into shore and out again. You are likely to vacillate from dwelling on your ex-partner to blocking out all thoughts of the person. Why do people suffering from a breakup have to go through the experience of grieving? What's the purpose? Keep these things in mind. Through grief, you express your feelings of loss. Through grief, you express your feelings about the effects of the loss. Through grief, you express your anger with the loss, as well as your desire to change what happened. The purpose of grieving is to get beyond these reactions, so you can move on with your life. Grieving will bring you to the point of making necessary changes, so you can live with the loss in a healthy way. It's a matter of beginning with, why did this happen to me? And moving to, how can I learn through this experience? When the how question replaces the why question, you have started to live with the reality of the loss. Why questions reflect a search for meaning and purpose in loss. How questions reflect your search for ways to adjust to the loss. Letting go. One of the biggest steps of the grieving process is letting go of your ex. But what does letting go in a relationship mean? Here are several possibilities. It means making a clear and firm decision to end your involvement with memories. After you have faced them, felt the pain, said goodbye, and released them, it's time to move on. It means taking responsibility for the decision to let go and knowing that it's the right thing to do. It means making a promise to yourself that the relationship is over. It means making it clear to your ex-partner by your actions that it's over. It means sticking by the decision, no matter how painful the process.